Now, I read your comments and you all said these things were tacky, and while I can't say I disagree, let's just focus on how we're gonna fix them. Hey there, hi, welcome to the channel. I am Garrett, and in this video, we are talking about some of the things that make a home look tacky. Now, you know, I don't believe in getting rid of your things or having to change things for anybody else, but let's talk about how we can take some of those things from being tacky into being timeless. We talk about interior design on this channel, we talk about luxury and elevating our lifestyle, so be sure you are subscribed to the channel, you have the bell notification turned on to get notified every time I upload, and let's get into the video. Now, the first thing you all told me that you think is tacky are anything with words on them. Word signs and quotes, pillows with words, decor with words. You all don't know why things have words. And honestly, I'm a little bit confused myself. Unless you need a reminder, we don't necessarily need to directly say things. We can nod at them, but we don't have to say, live, laugh, love, because all I'm doing is rolling my eyes. I'm not living, laughing, or loving over the sign. So let's focus on getting rid of some of these words and what we can replace them with. Now, the idea behind words I actually like because it's about like motivation, it's about inspiration, and it's about, you know, reminding yourself, being grateful, all of those incredible things. But there's a way you can be sentimental, you can remind yourself of things that is timeless, that's effortless, and that's actually a conversation piece as opposed to a thing that's making me run. For example, I have some incredible artwork in my home that's extremely personal to me. One of the pieces is actually an incredible original painting by Peter Max. It's gorgeous, it's beautiful, it encompasses everything that I love about both my husband and myself. It's actually a scene of Central Park in New York City, and it's really sentimental because we went on a horse-drawn carriage ride through that exact part of Central Park the night we got engaged. It was right around the corner from one of our favorite places in the city, and it's just incredibly sentimental. Every time I walk past that painting, it reminds me of that moment, of that time, of what happened, and all of the feelings I have about it. It just is like a love story right there, but it's a conversation piece, it's a conversation starter. It's not something everybody sees when they first walk into my home. It's in a more private area, but it's something really important and really beautiful that I really enjoy. Now, that was a bit of an investment, but I also have a really fun piece of artwork in one of my hallways that really reminds me of our wedding, of all of our friends and everything that happened and how much fun we had without it just being like a sign that says Mr. and Mrs. or I guess in my case, it's Mr. and Mr., but that's not the point of this video. One of our amazing friends, her name is Elizabeth, babe, if you are watching, hi. She gifted us with this beautiful card and it was just stacked full of something and we were like, what do you think it is? What do you think it is? Oh my goodness, who's it from? And when we got home, we opened it and it was full of $2 bills. We had such a laugh. It was so hilarious. She gave us a huge stack of $2 bills as a wedding gift, and it was really something sentimental, really something fun, and for months we were paying for all sorts of things with $2 bills. It was so funny, and we actually kept some of them that were in sequential order, which is fairly rare and interesting. It's definitely a conversation piece, and I have some of them framed. It's something that, you know, I don't want to have it out on display and have everybody just looking at money hanging on my walls, but when people see it, they're instantly like, wait, are those $2 bills? And then I have a story to tell. But it also reminds me of that moment, that time, that special day that my husband and I had together with all of our friends and family where we could all be together and celebrate. Something like that's gonna be a lot more sentimental, a lot more special than just some generic word sign you ordered online and then got delivered and hung on your wall. You can also make some things yourself or even commission pieces of artwork. Hey, maybe you love a live, laugh, love sign, and I love that for you. Wouldn't it be really amazing if you had 3 custom paintings commissioned, one called Laugh, one called Love, and one called Live, that you could hang on your wall that were really interesting and unique and reminded you of living, laughing, and loving instead of just having a sign on the wall that says live, laugh, love that everyone's rolling their eyes at and nobody is like considering. The next thing that makes a home look tacky that we need to have a conversation about is all of the pampas grass. What's going on with the pampas grass? It's crazy to me, like why do we have dried grass just hanging out around the house? Seems very odd, and it also like is giving me a very dust collecting moment. You're kind of looking at it and you're like, like I have to sneeze, like I feel it coming on because it just looks dusty and dry. There's a lot of alternatives we can take. when it comes to pampas grass. Typically, we're bringing it into our homes because we want to add some texture, we want to add some vibrancy, a little bit of something interesting, but in a neutral tone. There's lots of ways we can go about doing that without just bringing in some dead grass. We can layer in some wicker, some caning, some really interesting textural pieces. Maybe you could find a woven vessel-shaped object of some sort that would really bring in a lot of great texture. You could do a jute or a sisal rug. Something like that will bring that texture in without you just having to have a vase full of dried plants and grass. I'm also seeing this thing on like social media and Instagram and everywhere where people are like, it's pampas grass season, and they're encouraging other people to go literally steal pampas grass from other people's bushes because it's, I don't know, it's just growing somewhere. Honey, let me tell you, my pampas grass bushes start to look a little bit sparse. I'm calling the police. Oh, look who's here to help us. Do you want to help me introduce today's video sponsor? Do you want to introduce them or do you want me to do it? Okay, well, go ahead and tell them. So we've just decided to say nothing. Okay, a quick word about today's video sponsor, Skillshare. I love teaching you, but there are only so many things I can share with you at once. That's why I love Skillshare. Their easy-to-use platform makes enhancing your knowledge on topics you're actually passionate about fun and easy. They have classes about design, cooking, organization, and meditation. I have really been enjoying Thomas Frank's Productivity Masterclass, Create a Custom System That Works. It's all about upping your productivity and time management. Because life is busy, especially with work and kids. Not that I have kids, but I do have dogs, so basically the same thing. But his classes have genuinely helped me to make the most of my time to help balance how overwhelming life can be at times. There's also nothing better than enhancing yourself and your space and your life. Trust me, I know. Accomplishing that growth is satisfying, and Skillshare makes it simple. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And the first 1,000 people to use the link in the description will get a free 1-month trial of premium Skillshare membership so you can explore your creativity. And if it ain't premium, it ain't Le Chic. Okay, all right, you didn't help me, so you can go. Go. No, we gotta get into the video. Bye. The next thing that makes a home look tacky is having all of the collections on display. You all have told me this, that you really are just not the biggest fans of like the collections and everything out and just lined up on a shelf. And I can totally relate to that. I can totally agree. I'm a collector and I love to collect things. I collect blue and white porcelain. I collect all sorts of stuff. But I don't ever have it all just lined up on a shelf and displayed because I like to incorporate it into my decor and into my spaces. You can take some of those collectible objects and, you know, just set them on a tabletop. You can use them as a bookend. You can use them in a lot of interesting ways that say something a little bit different than this is my collection, take a look at it. You can have things incorporated into a space and then rotate them through. You can have some of them tucked away, pull out the ones you love, take out the ones that you've had there for a little while. That way you're kind of rotating things through and your collection doesn't get old or boring and it constantly feels refreshed and it's interesting. It creates a conversation piece, something of interest, and it also will give you that little moment where you get to interact with your collection and say like, you know what, this is a seasonal piece, let's swap it out for something a little bit different, let's put this piece here and that one over there. It creates a sense of involvement when it comes to a collection because sometimes when we collect things, we just buy one and then we're on to the next, versus when you incorporate those collections into your decor and into your color schemes and into your home in a different way than just lining them up to look at them, you're now involving yourself deeper. You can actually collect a lot of different things. Maybe you like ceramic elephants or coffee table books. Maybe you like, I don't know, Franklin Mint. There's a lot of different things that there is to collect and you can collect them. Just be sure you're using them in an interesting way that evokes a sense of involvement with that collection. Maybe you collect vessels. Hey, we all know in my minimalist video, I went in on the vessel collectors, but maybe you like to collect vessels. That's great too. Incorporate them in a different way. Store some of them away while you're not using them or while they're not out on display. That way a space doesn't feel cluttered, it doesn't feel overcrowded, and your collection has a sense that it fits in with your house, that it belongs there, and that it's more than just something that you go out and buy, and it's something that you've thought about, you've researched, you look into, that's incorporated into your space that you really love. The next thing that you all have told me you think is tacky is the family photo gallery wall. And I have a gallery wall in my home, so I've personally been attacked, that's fine. We're gonna talk about it. So for me, a gallery wall can go one of two ways. It can either be really great, enhance a space, or it can be something that's just a little bit busy feeling, a little bit cluttered. In my home, I took the wall behind my staircase and I've turned that into my gallery wall. You all have seen it in the background of numerous videos, and I really love it. Ours is not necessarily just comprised of family photos. We have some vintage photos. We have some photos of some of our family that are no longer with us. We have photos of celebrities that we've actually had autographs from, and we try to keep them to a neutral color scheme of black and white. That way they just create a little bit of contrast, a little bit of interest. But that photo wall extends the entire wall. It's a gallery, an entire wall of them. I think it works because you also have the angle of the staircase, so it's a little bit broken up. But in a home, a lot of people are just a little bit tired of like the family photos along a hallway, and I can totally get that because it is a little bit busy in a small space. But what I like to do in a home when it comes to incorporating my family photos, photos of the people I love, photos of our wedding, and all sorts of really amazing memories, I like to put them on a tabletop. I'll take a beautiful frame, put them in that, and that way I can rotate the photos through, I can move them around, I can pull out a memory from this time and have that on display so that, you know, at that time of year or around that time, that anniversary or whatever it is, I can remember that. It's a little bit more sentimental. It lets me change things up a little bit, but I also don't have the feeling of a lot of clutter and filling the space because I can put as many or as few out as I want. You can do this on a tabletop, a dresser, maybe a mantle. This is always a really fun way to bring in family photos without them just being an entire wall. But hey, at the end of the day, if you have a gallery wall of your family photos, I'm still gonna sit there and look at them. I'm interested, I wanna know what everybody did, put some embarrassing ones that are gonna make me laugh on it, and we all will relate to that. We love it. I do love a family wall, and at the end of the day, your house is your sanctuary. You wanna be reminded of those beautiful times and memories you've shared and you have and the people you love. So if you want a gallery wall, go ahead and do it. The last thing that we have all talked about that makes a home look tacky is a bookshelf with no books. I see this a lot on social media where design enthusiasts and experts will teach you how to style a shelf with no books. It'll be a shelf full of vases or pampas grass or whatever, and it's a little bit like, where are the books? It's a bookshelf full of clutter and decor. It's not a bookshelf that's serving any purpose or any use. It doesn't matter if you have a decorative bookshelf, a shelf somewhere or whatever is going on, whether they're flanking your fireplace or you have a library in your home. We want to make sure that there's a certain amount of books on it because a shelf without books is just somewhere that's collecting dust. It doesn't really have a purpose or a reason to be there. And I'm not saying you have to organize your books via the Dewey Decimal System or whatever it is that the librarians are going to tell you need to do, but having some books on a bookshelf will fill a space up. It makes it look interesting. It makes it look like you read. Because at the end of the day, if I walk into a space and I see a bookshelf that has no books, I'm gonna assume that maybe you just don't know how to read, you don't like reading, and that's fine. Not everybody likes reading. That's not everybody's journey, but where are the books? You could totally use your collection of coffee table books and use them to stage that with. You can fill that space up without it being cluttered, without it being overcrowded, but you wanna make sure you have some books on a bookshelf because that's the point of a bookshelf, is to have books, and then incorporate some decor into those books. You could use it as a bookend. You can turn some books on their side and put something on the top of them. You just don't want to have a bookshelf that's all like vases and wooden beads and pampas grass and vessels. You want to make sure you've got some books to add some character, to add some life to it, to make it look like it makes sense and it's not just some weird shelf in the middle of a space that has no purpose being there because there's nothing to put on it. Well, there you have it, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below and share with me what are some other things that you think make a home look tacky. You know, I love to hear from you, and be sure you share with us so that we can all avoid them in the future. Give this video a like, and I know that you know someone that has a little bit of a tacky situation happening that needs to maybe straighten it out. Send this video to them because friends help friends, and I will see you in the next one.